Listen, I've been around, I've seen a few things, and I've got the answer. I know what the answer is. The problem with European wrestling is bad apples. Bad apples like this guy. What's an Italian apple? Should I? Italian apples. This guy is a bad Melanurca Campana in a basket filled with really juicy and really colored apples. This analogy hasn't fallen apart yet, but if I keep going with it, it's going to fall apart, so let's just move on. Here's the deal. I feel like I'm in a privileged position to talk about this because I started in European wrestling. First of all, let's define it, right? I mean like continental European wrestling. I remember having a conversation with someone who was very smart, shout out, who said how the big difference between places like the United States and the United Kingdom and Mexico and Japan and the rest of the world is that while every other country may have a wrestling scene, these places have a wrestling culture. This was a perfect way of putting it. I started my career in Portugal where there was a very small and almost inexistent wrestling scene, and I decided to move here to London, to the UK, because here there's a wrestling culture and I wanted to do more of that. And even though I've been here for a while, I keep working with a lot of companies in Portugal, in Spain, in France, in Italy, who keep trying to do their best to build their wrestling scene and maybe hopefully be able to turn it into a wrestling culture. Things are on an upswing, and I've seen lately a lot of places coming around and people really investing in their presentation and in the quality of talent that they use. And it's been incredible to see, right? For example, in Portugal, where I come from, they are routinely beating the attendance record that I set when I used to go back there, and I was the double and only person in history to hold all the Portuguese championships at the same time. All of them. Let's not forget that fact. Professional jealousy aside, this isn't the point. Things are being built great and it's been impressive. I've been working very closely with Rix. The investment that there's been in trying to build the scene and trying to bring it to a better place has been so incredible. And look at me a few months ago being able to be a part of the biggest independent wrestling show in France, if not ever, definitely lately. And these are just the examples of things that I'm closely working with. There are so many other examples of people that are doing such great work. If you're watching this somewhere in a country from continental Europe, please do yourself a favor, search wherever wrestling exists in your country, because you'll be pleasantly surprised at the offer that you get out there. There's a certain wave of underground wrestling being built from the ground up and presenting a really, really quality product that you don't want to miss this wave. So jump on it. On this video specifically, I want to talk about Break. They run in Rome, in Italy, and their shows have been very impressive in a lot of aspects, both from the quality that they bring in the ring, from the talent that they get on those shows, to presentation. I may be a bit biased to say Andrea, the promoter, he's a friend of mine. I've known him for years. So we have a close relationship, and I've been privileged to be able to help him out, answering a few questions, to help him build things in a place where he wants to build a scene. And in all of these projects and places all around Europe that people want to build something, and I'm sure that this applies to the world as well, there's two things in common. One, which is happening more and more recently, it's the reason why things are going so well, is that more people are understanding and willing to do the steps that need to be taken to be able to slowly but surely, with no rush and with no ego, build this scene up whatever they are. And the second thing is something that has been slowly and gradually eradicated because of this first thing that's been showing up, but I believe will never go away, and that is bad apples. When you're trying to build a scene from the ground up, when you're trying to build something from nothing or very little and try to bring it up to hopefully be able to make it become culture, some people look that as an opportunity to make their name in history in the most useless way possible. I've seen this. I've seen it with my own two eyes in so many places. And trust me, people that are involved in the business in European wrestling can think of a lot of names that will fit this. There's a lot of people who try to use those opportunities in time to try and get as many kudos as possible and maybe get the love that they haven't been able to get in their lifetime from their parents. I don't know. I have no idea why he's doing what he's doing. Let me stop being vague and let me go narrow here. I'm specifically thinking this time about Il Divo. Divo apparently when he's not training or in a ring, if he does do that, is an actor, and somehow he must have thought that he was just like Stephen Amell and being able to be successful in wrestling when actually he's closer to Squanchy from Rick and Morty. I mean, the similarities are uncanny. And it was clear from the beginning that he was a bad apple, so Andrea did the right thing. Andrea banned him from his shows because he was there not to try and do his best to improve himself and help the scene grow, but to try and keep the pond small so that he could claim to be a big fish. And Andrea saw it early, realized it, nipped it in the bud, and the problem was solved. Right? Wrong! Because Divo didn't realize that he needs to earn his place in Break, because clearly he lost the privilege of being a part of professional wrestling. But I shouldn't really be surprised at someone acting this way when they have the personality of a half-baked pizza without tomato sauce. A few weeks ago, at the invitation of a third party, they actually end up being in the same room. The third party said that they were trying to hopefully mend things and start to build bridges between them, but things actually got worse.
Andrea Ballarin, il promoter della federazione che io rappresento, adesso viene cacciato da questa federazione.
Nessun obbligo contrattuale.
Perché se la gente mi vuole vedere, la gente mi vuole vedere, e tu dici alle persone, tu dici ai tuoi fan che io non ci sono, lascia stare.
And this all comes around back to me because Andrea got in touch with me after this and said, David, what do I do? How do I make this stop? You want to look forward, not back, and the rest of the wrestlers and the audience and the scene can't lose because one guy just can't deal with the fact that the spotlight is not on him anymore. So I gave him two options. I gave him the real world business answer of how to try and deal with an issue like this, and then I gave him the professional wrestling option. I said, Andrea, we're friends. Sounds like you have a problem, and I'm a friend of yours. I'm happy to go and help you solve your problem. This isn't really about business. This is personal. I feel like when someone like Divo behaves like this, all of us continental European wrestlers are painted in the same brush, and I don't think that's okay, so we need to fix these problems before they become too big. Divo! Sup, David Francisco. You wanna be that much of a big fish? You have to prove your worth, buddy. Let's see if you have your melas in place, shall we? Buddy! Fight me. Fight me, Divo. Let's do it. It's time for someone to put you in your place, and if words aren't enough, then maybe you'll listen to actions. You, Divo, are an embarrassment to Italian wrestling, an embarrassment to me. And if you don't feel that embarrassment with words, then maybe you'll feel it with my boot shoving right through your nose. You are exactly the kind of person that people that were born and raised here in this wrestling culture and that I share locker rooms with laugh at out loud when they're thinking about the bad apples of European wrestling. You are worthless, insignificant, and small, and you will feel that way when I slap you. If you're so good as you say you are, if you think that Break should revolve around you, trademark, then fight me and enjoy being laughed out of the building once I'm done with you. Fight me, Divo, come on. Take the challenge. Show everyone what your true place in the Italian wrestling scene is. Unless everything I said about you in the past few minutes is true. Unless I read you like a book and you're just one bad apple. I don't know, you tell me. Am I right, Divo? If you never heard about Break, you can check them out here on YouTube. Their first show is available for free. Link is in the description. It includes great Italian talent and Connor Mills and Michael Oku. Let's not talk about that. I got new merch coming soon. I'm very excited about that. Keep an eye out. And if you haven't yet, make sure you subscribe to the channel. I'm going to bring you more about my journey in professional wrestling, both talking about challenges like this one and upcoming matches that I have, and catching you up on some matches, full matches, music videos, all of that here in the channel. Whatever your favorite social media platform is, make sure you follow me there, and I'll see you there. And now just wait for Divo's response. I'm sure it'll come quickly. I appreciate you watching. Cool, thanks, bye.